from classic spiritual literature. It's called the Mercury Parable, and honestly, it completely challenges our most basic assumptions about what it actually means to be a grounded, mindful person. Let's just dive right in and see what this story can teach us. Where is true mindfulness actually found? You know, we usually picture spiritual connection happening in, like, total isolation, right? On a quiet mountaintop somewhere. But think about it. Is it harder to stay spiritually grounded sitting in absolute silence, or right in the middle of a chaotic, busy, really loud day? Keep that conflict in the back of your mind as we go through this. Okay, section 1, the pious man's dream. So our story begins with a man who thought total isolation was absolutely the only path to spiritual fulfillment. Well, at least until a really unsettling dream told him otherwise. Now, this pious man, he spent literally every waking hour in secluded prayer. He was completely isolated from any worldly temptation. But in this dream, he was instructed to go visit a local shopkeeper to learn about true spirituality. Kind of weird, right? So, bewildered, he ventures into town, only to find this guy entirely consumed by his worldly business. He's handling goods, counting money, and just dealing with a constant, endless stream of customers. Watching from the corner of the shop, the pious man is just totally convinced the dream was a huge mistake. I mean, he looks around and says, there are absolutely no signs of a spiritual life here. He sees the shopkeeper take just a brief pause for his daily salah prayer, and then boom, he jumps right back into the hustle. But eventually, the shopkeeper notices him lurking there, and the pious man just spills everything. He confesses his burning question about this incredibly strange dream. Which brings us to section 2, the Mercury Challenge. Hearing this, the shopkeeper just smiles. He agrees to explain the dream, sure, but only if the pious man completes this highly specific, kind of strange physical task first. Okay, so here's what he does. The shopkeeper hands him a saucer filled to the absolute brim with liquid mercury. And the rules, they are incredibly strict. First, take the saucer. Second, walk to the very end of this chaotic street. Third, return within exactly half an hour. And 4, here's the kicker, do not spill a single drop. If he spills even one drop, he gets no answer. And with that, he says, go. So the pious man grabs the saucer and instantly starts to run, right? But the mercury is super heavy. It wobbles and nearly spills right over the edge. Suddenly realizing he has this strict time limit, he basically power walks through the chaotic, bumping crowd. His eyes are 100% locked onto that wobbly tray. I mean, every single step he takes is a majorly calculated risk. Moving on to section 3, the metaphorical saucer. Against all odds, the panting, totally exhausted pious man bursts back through the shop doors. He shoves the tray back to the shopkeeper and demands to know the meaning of his dream. But instead of answering him directly, the shopkeeper hits him with this massive, brilliant question. He looks at him and asks, tell me, friend, how many times did you remember Allah while you were walking down the street? You guys, it's a trap. And honestly, it is such a brilliant one. The pious man is just completely shocked. He bursts out, remember him? I didn't remember him at all. I was far too terrified of spilling the mercury from the saucer. And right then, in that exact instant, it hits him. He realizes that the overwhelming stress of just one worldly task completely wiped out his spiritual mindfulness. All right, section 4, true spiritual excellence. This is where the shopkeeper gently reveals exactly why the dream deemed him spiritually superior. He looks at the pious man and delivers this incredibly profound metaphor. He says, I carry that same metaphorical saucer of mercury every single day. See, while navigating his business, dealing with his family, and just surviving in the chaotic world, he strives to remain fair and honest. That's his wobbly saucer, right? But despite all those massive distractions of his trade, he never allows himself to forget his faith for a single moment. So true spiritual excellence isn't just about having faith in a quiet, empty room where it's easy. No, the much harder path is maintaining that deep connection while you are actively participating in the messy world. And this idea is beautifully anchored in theology, specifically in Surah An-Nur, which praises men who neither trade nor sale diverts from the remembrance of Allah, nor from performing as-salah, nor from giving the zakah. It completely validates the shopkeeper's wisdom. So my question to you is, how do you balance your own saucer of mercury in today's crazy, distracting world? Because we all have jobs, we have families, we have daily stresses. That's the wobbling mercury of modern life. The challenge here isn't to just drop the saucer and run away into the woods. It's to carry it